Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely fantastic day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. Thank you for being here. Let me know what your favorite cryptocurrency is in the comment section and why everyone else should be buying it. Because a lot of coins, as the analysts keep saying, are about to go a lot higher. Pretty interesting news day. The last couple of days, I don't know if you've noticed, the news has been a bit, not different, but we're in like a special kind of wave of news. We typically have those moments where, what do you call it? Either we're getting like a week or two of like price predictions, or we're getting like building kind of news like we've recently been receiving. Like this company is doing this country is doing this, the SEC is doing this, like that kind of thing. And we keep having like a different momentum every once in a while, but it is nice to see other news beginning to pop up in popular news, but also this feels a little bit off, and I don't know exactly how they got to this conclusion. I can't really mathematically actually figure it out. Once again, Bernstein, I'm not really sure. There's an analytical company who continuously has been popping up more and more in the cryptocurrency space. It's really weird. We don't hear about Chainalysis. We don't hear about any of the other on-chain programs, companies as much as we used to before in the past. A lot of what we're getting now is Bernstein. We're getting a lot of like analysts from Bloomberg and or BlackRock. I guess maybe because like big money is in the space now. Analysts at Bernstein have made a bold prediction regarding MicroStrategy. For some reason, like the wunderkind of the cryptocurrency space. Everyone, if you don't pay attention to like lightly outside the crypto space news, everyone's obsessed with MicroStrategy. Everyone's obsessed with Coinbase. This kind of goes back to the Cathie Wood days of people like being very interested in their stocks and how well the company was going to do. Many people within crypto tend to not care as much simply because they're dealing in like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, or Cardano. But usually, and I mean this, really people use this as like an indicator of like the strength of the cryptocurrency market depending on how well these companies actually do. Bernstein made a prediction about MicroStrategy. The Bitcoin proxy firm co-founded by Michael Saylor. Bernstein has forecasted that MicroStrategy could hold over 1 million Bitcoin. Here's the weird part. By the year 2033. First of all, just simple math here. That's more or less. I'm rounding it down, if you will. More or less 8 years away. 2025, 2023. Simple numbers. The reason why this seems so weird and like such an odd prediction, if you haven't noticed, and it took two. It took 2 years for MicroStrategy to get 500,000 Bitcoin. So the idea of it taking another 8 years to do what they did in 2 years is a little weird. And now, hold on. Actually, I'm going to tell you something as well. I don't know what's going on, but we're getting a lot of like odd predictions from Bernstein and from like Bloomberg recently. Bloomberg and maybe third name as well. Not BlackRock. BlackRock doesn't give and hasn't been giving. Their analysts haven't been giving that many predictions for Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency market. But we're getting a lot of like, it's not bearish. It's just like long-termish, slow kind of news. For instance, the idea of it taking 8 years to do again what they did in 2 years, when the company is currently trying to acquire another $42 billion to basically buy all the other 500,000 coins this year and the next. And that's on top of, if you missed the news as well, the other news that we've been getting from MicroStrategy that every like week They're purchasing another 118 million, another 220 million that has nothing to do with the 21 billion. We're getting a couple other like price predictions for coins, like Ethereum only at 5,000, Bitcoin maybe going to 200,000. It's this really weird like 2025 like slow, but then they kind of jump to like 2029 or 2030. You'll start paying attention more, and I'll make sure to mention it more in other videos. It's a really weird thing that like this kind of new analyst shift has kind of kicked in, and their time frame for a lot of things is completely off. So it's like, okay, potentially positioning MicroStrategy to hold 5% of the entire Bitcoin supply. Led by analyst Gautam Chugani, Bernstein's research note reflects an updated, bullish case based on Strategy's strong quarter 4 financial results and its recent aggressive Bitcoin purchases. Yeah, since November, December, January, February, March, April. Has it? Wait, November, December. Yeah, it's been about 5 or 6 months. They've purchased an additional 200,000 Bitcoin. So I feel like they'll be able to get close to 1 million, if not realistically 750,000 by the end of this year. I don't know where the 2033 is coming from. The firm has assigned an outperform rating to Strategy's stock with a price target of $600, suggesting a potential upside of 75% from its current trading levels. As of now, their stock is around $300, having experienced a slight decline of 2%. This was popular news, and I get why it is. It's kind of one of those things where years ago as well, we used to get news about Coinbase and Binance and how well they were doing, and Coinbase going public, and that was like the Cathie Wood era, if you remember that. It was like every other day this woman was in the news and she was talking about how much she loved Bitcoin. Like really, like I'm obsessed with Bitcoin. And then she would kind of pivot and just start talking about stocks. And she would start talking about how much money she had in stocks and how much more Coinbase she was going to buy. And she was hoping that other cryptocurrency companies were also going to go public. And I was like, okay, all right. So I don't know what she's been doing. Maybe she like did that thing where rich people finally like just go live on an island somewhere and they're, just kind of happy. Anywho, yeah. So I don't think it's going to take that long, but Bernstein, I'll show you once again next time, has recently been predicting like really weird things for cryptocurrency prices, but it ends up always being popular news. And it's like, oh, all right. Okie dokie. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in popular news, and I get it, but I think it's one of those like welcome to the club kind of things where people are supposed to cheer and jump up and down because it's a new thing, something. A company called the Blockchain Group, a French blockchain company, has significantly increased its Bitcoin holdings. Towards the end of March, the company announced the purchase of an additional 580 Bitcoin. They paid $50 million. The acquisition boosts its total Bitcoin reserves to 620. Once again, in weird news, this is the third time that a company is popping up announcing that they purchased more Bitcoin. And the news is announcing that they had purchased additional Bitcoin. But I go over news every single day, and I've also never said this company's name out loud. The Blockchain Group? What was the other one? It was called like Scrappy Doo Poo Poo or something like that. I don't remember what it was called. This was like a week ago. There was another company that was in the news. And it was really popular news, and all the news articles were like, they've increased their Bitcoin holdings by 118 Bitcoin. And I was like, I think I would remember saying those exact words, and I've never said them before. The Blockchain Group does not ring one bell, like not even half a bell. And so cool. Apparently, Another 580 Bitcoin. They now have 620 in total. And then it goes on to talk about Bitcoin and blah, 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 blah. Whoever writes these articles, they write it really weirdly. It's always kind of the same. You'll notice this as well. Whenever an article is like nearing its end, they always write something like, this move highlights the company's exposure to Bitcoin and their love for the cryptocurrency market. And it's like, no, they're just doing it because they want money. Everyone's still expecting Bitcoin to at least do a 2, 3, or 4x over the course of this year. Should tariff fears begin to dwindle in any sort of way. And once again, what's this person's name? Face thing. The woman with the... Anyway, some other person yesterday, one of the main analysts, just reiterated that she's expecting still a $1.5 million Bitcoin in 4.5 years. Like by 2030... she's expecting a $1.5 million Bitcoin. So I was like, yeah, okay, you know, all the big wigs are expecting big numbers. So this is why I believe we keep hearing and seeing these companies daily announcing that they're buying more Bitcoin or getting into the space. But this one actually also made popular news. I don't not get it, but it's also like, okay, cool. So I guess there's another company who's also gobbling up Bitcoin as well. They have 620, couple decimal places. They took it from a couple thousand people. If you do the 0.003, yeah, I think that's what it is. 0.00. Yeah, there we go. Equal Bitcoin for everyone on the planet. Bitcoin continues to dwindle. The amount of Bitcoin on crypto exchanges continues to decrease. The amount of Ether on crypto exchanges continues to decrease. You name it, across the board. We're getting a lot of whale news, but once again, I don't bring much whale news daily anymore because it's just really repetitive in a certain way. If you continuously hear every single day that there are whales buying it up, you're like, okay, we get it. Like, I understand. Like, there's a big whale outside who's eating a lot of crypto, that kind of thing. So cool. Yeah, this company literally came out of nowhere. The Blockchain Group. Right. And this is, and I say it this way, this is in a nice way. This is just one of the companies who kind of wants to be known. Don't forget that companies are always buying Bitcoin. There are many, if not 120 dozen companies out there who are also buying and holding Bitcoin. They simply just don't release press releases for it. But there are other companies who want to be more known. So usually sometimes they do it to have like a higher stock valuation. They want to, you know, have their stock price go up because they bought some Bitcoin. But don't forget the other companies who are private, the other rich families who are buying 100, 200 Bitcoin every single day. So yeah, that's the Blockchain Group news. I assume we'll be hearing about them again very soon. Also in popular news, it's cool, but it's like, oh, okay, that's also something that can be done. Where the heck are the words? Jeez Louise. Oh, hello? Hello? What the fudge? Okay, there we go. The Brazilian National Congress has received a new bill that would allow employees to take part of their salaries in Bitcoin and other digital assets. Back in good old 2013, when the world was like slightly more, no, actually that's a lie. It was far more normal than any of us can possibly remember. There was actually a French company who began to pay their employees in Bitcoin. Around 2014, 2015, if you weren't here back then or don't remember any of the news, or if you haven't looked into the history of crypto, a number of sports stars began to take their salaries in crypto. That kind of peaked around 2018, 2019. It was like, 2 people did it, then another person did it, and it remade big news in 2017 or 2018. After Bitcoin was around $20,000, because it was like that person started getting paid in Bitcoin when it was $300. This is how rich they are now, like that kind of thing. And then we had discussions around 2019, 2020, early 2020, about companies within the United States allowing people to be able to get their paychecks or part of their salaries in Bitcoin, and that quickly was swept away by some other, just random news that we also had 5 years ago. Can you believe it's been 5 years? 5 years ago that happened. Isn't that really crazy to think about? So I think this is just the beginning of the discussions. We are going to have a lot more things like this, I think, over the coming years. It was also one of those predicted things by the original cryptocurrency oracles and stuff like that, as far as the dominoes falling. The next step is basically people being like, I don't trust the dollar. I don't like the euro. I don't like the yen. My money's constantly being devalued. It's kind of what we see with Metaplanet. Basically, for those of you who didn't see how they came to fame, they basically announced, we don't like the yen. We keep losing money as we are sitting on it, so we're going to put more of our money into Bitcoin. And now apparently in Brazil, there's a bill that they're going to vote on to allow employees to take part of their salaries in Bitcoin and or other crypto. Brazil has been tremendously crypto friendly over the last 4 to 5 years. There are 2 or 3 cities within Brazil that are currently also, this is why I think news and history is very fascinating. A number of years ago, we already heard that there were a number of places that were already creating, they weren't calling them Bitcoin reserves back then. It was just more what was the word that they used? There was a terminology that they used for it. Some kind of anyway, I almost said a Magic the Gathering of Bitcoin. Some kind of a thing where the city's treasury was also accumulating Bitcoin as a just in case. But now we call it a Bitcoin reserve, and this is how it became popular. They also had crypto regulation very early, which also shocked everyone else because we're used to an SEC that went really slow, and Brazil and Japan were like, nope, we're going to get it really. Oh, and Hong Kong as well. Everything was happening nearly at the speed of light. The new bill is in line with Brazil's pro-crypto stance. Felipe, whoever that is supposed to be, said that the new bill will ensure that Brazil takes its place as one of the biggest crypto hubs globally. Yeah, they've been doing a really good job. I don't know what their taxation rate is within Brazil, but Brazil as a whole has really done an exceptional job when it comes to cryptocurrency regulation and allowing things through. They were also one of the first countries to have ETFs for crypto as well. Once again, in every other country, it was never a discussion. It was just the SEC over the course of the last 10 years. And you can't put all that weight on Gary Gensler's shoulders because it was also Jay Clayton. Over the course of the last decade, these two people just destroyed any kind of momentum that we could have had with crypto within the United States, and every other country more or less kept on getting it right. Brazil may be the next in line to legalize salary payments in Bitcoin after the National Congress received a bill pushing for the move. According to reports, Congress received a bill that will allow employees to take their salaries and other remunerations in Bitcoin and other digital assets. The bill was authorized and submitted by prominent politician Luiz Felipe of Orleans Bragança. That sounds like a movie star's name. Luiz Felipe of Orleans Bragança. Is that his whole name? Or is there a place called Orleans Bragança? In the bill, he asked that the National Congress look into the idea of regulating the payment of salaries and digital assets, regulation of the payment of salaries, remunerations, and labor benefits with the use of virtual assets. An excerpt of the bill reads, I will be honest with you, no one knows if this is going to get passed, but the historical tendencies that we've seen thus far is that this is probably going to get passed. And I say it from the standpoint of logic, and that's all that I can usually give to you. If they allow this to go through, you probably, and I would say it this way, if I made this law go through, whoever wanted to receive their salary in Bitcoin, XRP, Cardano, I don't care what it is, you would have to sign a piece of paper. You would have to let me know explicitly. You would have 72 hours to look that paper over, sign it, and then give it back to your employer, explicitly stating that you know the risks of you getting paid in Tron or Cardano or Bitcoin as part of your salary. you are currently making 50, 60,000 per year, understand that 50% of your salary is going to be in crypto. Over the course of a bear market, understand that the salary that you receive will probably mathematically be a lot less than you are used to receiving. So please let us know in advance and sign this contract. So if they kind of take it from that vantage point, the problem is that people like to blame other people for the stuff that they did. So I assume if the prices go up, everyone's going to be really happy. But if prices go down, then everyone's going to be like, I didn't want my salary. And it's like, nope, you signed that paper. You had 72 hours to look it over. So yeah, this was also kind of popular news. Anytime we get something that sounds futuristic, like really, or like cryptocurrency in any sort of way. Like I said, we already had many instances of companies paying their employees in crypto. It's just more of I think the world is kind of moving in that direction. But the way that the world works now is that, don't forget, you can also take some of your own salary and put it into crypto. Side note, y'all, do not get into debt for crypto. That's very important. I mentioned that about at least 16 times per year on this channel. Do not put more money into this market that you can't afford to lose. It is an incredibly volatile market. Do sell and get rid of things in your house that you don't need, that you don't want. Have a yard sale, sell it on eBay, get rid of it in some sort of way, and make sure that you are accumulating money so that you have a savings account in case of a rainy day, rainy month, rainy year, and also that you have extra money to be able to invest. Yeah, it constantly needs to be said because I see that a lot of people, and I know what it's, and I'll say it this way. On Twitter, I'm noticing a little bit more like bullishness, regardless of where prices might be on any given day. I am noticing a lot more people like hyping things up and talking about crypto and like that kind of thing. And I just need to throw it out there once again, because there's usually a trap that people get caught in where prices go up and they start throwing tons of money into it. We have any kind of downtrend, they get upset on Twitter that they put a lot of money into crypto. Or I'm seeing people even mentioning, this isn't a joke, should I take out like 5K and so like an equity from my house? And I don't respond to these people. I don't know them. I'm not going to intervene in their lives. But as I care about all of you, please, for the love of goodness, don't get into debt for this. I know a lot of times you want to put more money into the market, do what you can, pay off all your bills, any extra money that you have left over after you've paid your rent, your bills, your mortgage, and you have food in the fridge. That's what you use to put into crypto. So, yeah, I assume if this goes through, if this goes through, we will be hearing more about this in the very, very, very near future. That's the Brazil has a lot of good crypto news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in popular news as well, I feel like this is old, but like new. I'll tell you exactly what I mean. Pakistan is in the news. Pakistan has announced plans to use surplus energy for cryptocurrency mining. This sounds familiar because we had news 2 weeks ago that there's some other country, I think it's a Latin American country, who announced, no, it's 3. There was a Latin American country who announced it, and there was another country in the Middle East. I want to say it's Abu Dhabi. Google it. I want to say it's Abu Dhabi about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Announced that they're also going to be using excess energy, whatever they have, yada, yada, for cryptocurrency mining. Now, Pakistan is announcing that they're doing or going to be doing the exact same thing. I wish we had a chart. Someone must have made one somewhere of like which countries that we know of are currently mining Bitcoin, because it has to be 15 or 20 at this point. There were reports back in 2019 that nearly every country under heavy sanctions within the United States, or from the United States, were mining crypto and trading between themselves. Remember I told you when we had the news, this was years ago, that the 3 countries went to the International Monetary Fund and basically told the IMF that they were going to start issuing Bitcoin bonds. And the IMF was like, no, you're not. Then we heard a couple of months later that there were already multiple countries who were testing cryptocurrency payments amongst themselves for imports and exports. And I think that Pakistan was one of them. Besides that, we know that there are provinces and places within Canada who are mining large amounts of crypto. Once again, the United States probably has their own mining facilities as well. It would be nonsensical, and I mean even before Trump, it would be nonsensical to assume that they were just completely not a part of this ecosystem in any sort of way, because we know that China is a huge partner, or rather player, in the cryptocurrency mining space. The only way to have a huge mining operation within China is to get approval from the Chinese government. And we know that a lot of the companies who are mining after they got wink approval from the Chinese government are actually owned by the Chinese government. So therefore, the Chinese government is also taking part in Bitcoin mining. But now Pakistan will also be doing the same. A lot of countries have kind of realized, and I say it this way, it's a really good way to get interest back into your country, or have people go, okay, they're doing X, Y, and Z for the space. We can try and do business with them. Also, it's just a great extra way to make money. If you have excess of something, you don't really need to do anything with that excess. It's like if you're going to sell it to another country, why not use it for some other kind of an industry that's going to be really big? There's a lot of rumors, and I don't think they're even rumors anymore, about Dubai and many other places also setting up like mining farms as they're in a desert and they have a near eternal amount of sun, and they're using that to also basically create new Bitcoin to add to their surplus that they already have. No one knows the exact number that Dubai or Abu Dhabi, etc. has, but I assume it's well over 6 figures by this point. The country is keen on the digital assets market and is creating special tariffs to attract more crypto developers. Pakistan will use the surplus power available at marginal costs to build crypto data centers. The Energy Department of Pakistan has contacted various stakeholders to implement the plan. Remember that thing years ago? There was a guy, I want to say Venezuela. I'll never forget these stories. And this is why I think crypto is so important in a multitude of different ways. There was a guy, and he was talking about how like his currency and his country were basically falling apart. And he had a couple of cryptocurrency miners back then, Bitcoin mining, like mining machines. And he was like, it's so crazy because he was making like cents, like 28 cents per day. But his currency had collapsed so much that he was able to use that money to like feed his entire family. We've had tons of stories like that from around the world where these people have been mining Bitcoin and like the extra money that they're making from it has allowed them to live. And I'm like, this is exactly what it's for. Like, this is the main purpose of it, like to allow other people who would otherwise be trapped in a fiat-based system to have some kind of freedom. This is the annoyance that I have when we keep hearing that MicroStrategy is nearing 1 million Bitcoin. It's like, it's not for them. The country wants to attract more investors, but needs to balance the power supply so that it will be in a good position to boost the crypto industry. Bitcoin alone is a power-intensive operation, using proof-of-work mining estimated to consume 130, geez Louise, 130 terawatts per hour. A rate greater than that used by some countries, such as Argentina and the Netherlands. That is insane. If you ever get a chance as well, this was old like propaganda news that a lot of places used to throw out there about how much electricity that Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining uses. Yes, it does use a lot of electricity, but so does the internet. You want to know what uses even more electricity than Bitcoin mining? AI. Yeah, if you look into it, it's actually like 8-10x really what cryptocurrency mining is currently doing. Even just like sending messages or like getting a response back from an AI, nonetheless, like all the other operations that people have them doing are incredibly energy intensive, but no one dealing in AI is going to tell you any of that because, you know, you always try and deflect back to something else. But yeah, Very, very interesting that this is kind of going in this direction, especially this year. This is one of those things, personally, where I sit there and I go, I don't know how people could be bearish on any part of this, even from the standpoint of like, our country wants to do better economically. We're trying to get more people into this country to deal in crypto with us. We're trying to help them. We're trying to make things better. Our additional electricity we're going to be using to like mine these coins as well. They're like, think about it. This is another country securing the network. It's incredible to think about. Other neighboring countries will begin to do the same. Other smaller countries will begin to do the same. And then at some point in the future, we'll know that we have 74 countries who are mining Bitcoin. They'll be stabilizing the network. They'll make things a lot stronger. They'll be strengthening the trend. Like, it's really interesting to think about. Yeah. There's also, like I said, lightly popular news, but I think it's pretty cool. I love stuff like this. I'm all for infrastructure and making things stronger and better. You can't just rely on and lean on the idea of MicroStrategy buying more to boost prices. No, we need every country on the planet to be mining Bitcoin. We need a strong network. When Bitcoin's price goes higher, it kind of locks the countries in. They understand, hey, this is a money-making machine that we have. Let's build more of it. Crazy, no? Yeah. I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you're all doing well. I know life is a bit all over the place, as it has been for a while, but as I always mention, make sure that you're taking care of yourself to the best of your abilities. I hope you've all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do sincerely hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you!